Evgeny said you can also use Eugene because that's the Russian or that area of the world's version of Eugene.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
it doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but Eugene.
Another from him actually is, it feels a bit like Google syndrome, as if somebody's bonus or performance rating is tied to the number of Torghast runs, but not to player mood. So the weird decisions are taken. And I think that's an extrapolation of, what gets measured gets managed.
Yes.
Which is, I think, something that everybody needs to understand in the sort of digital economy. So, if you look at the history of outrage blogs and how that has all developed, it's obviously satisfaction is not something that is taken into account. Now, it's actually funny because on YouTube, it now is literally true that not all watch time on YouTube is equal. I think I first noticed this whenever Linus Tech Tips, Linus had said that if you get too many dislikes, even if your views are great, the algorithm will suppress you. I can say that's definitely true from our experience whenever we've missed the mark in a video.
Yeah.
And there was a recent video from the YouTube search and discovery team that basically was like, yeah, literally in our algorithm, not all watch time is equal. We look at the exit polls that they sometimes give you after you watch a channel and likes and dislikes, and they actually do use that as a weighting on the watch time that you provide to a video. So it's that sort of thing where, yeah, you've got to be really careful about how the back end of your systems work. With this, I don't think anybody's bonus or performance rating is tied to a number of Torghast runs. I mean, that said, I don't know, anything like that, but, so I don't think it's about employee compensation there, but I think it is likely that at the end of the day, you're making Torghast, and, you don't have an exit poll afterwards. It's like, we've just noticed you've done a Torghast. Did you enjoy that or not? Let us know.
Yeah,
because, if that did exist, then Blizzard could say, wow, people are doing loads of Torghast. In fact, no, they're doing 2 of them every week and no more. And they're also leaving us loads of dislikes afterwards. Could it be it's because we're bribing them in there with soul ash and they actually don't want to be there? And, there's 3 happy people in the twisting corridors.
Yeah.
But they don't have that. So one of the issues they could maybe have is, how much can you trust the participation data that you get when you don't actually have much of a measure of player sentiment, I guess, other than, people dropping off the game and leaving an exit poll whenever they unsub. Because right now, I am doing all my world quests every day. Well, all the anima ones. Because part of my anima challenge video that I'm going to do, I'm going to, level up my buildings and just see, for me, how I'm playing while I'm doing a realistic scenario, how long would it take me to, to get some of those cool Covenant rewards. Now, they could look at that and be like, oh, wow, look at that data points going up. Good.
Yeah.
But I'm, not to spoil the video, but I don't think it's particularly thrilling content.
Really wild.
Yeah.
Never would have expected that.
So that's that challenging thing where what I would, and it, I don't think we do it as much over here, but certainly based on American Twitter around the election, they do seem to think through most things based on movie references.
Yes.
Where, I think apparently it was like whenever Biden won and there was all the portal scene from the Avengers and stuff. So I'm gonna meet them where they're at. I'm gonna do it with Star Wars, which is use the Force, Luke. And why I say that is fuck the numbers, because when World of Warcraft was actually developed into the genre-defining humongous success, they were not doing that, spending a bunch of time fretting over metrics or thinking about those things. Just go with your gut. Go with your gut, and if you've got what it takes, you're going to have good results. And then try to learn, obviously, and all that stuff. But that's what I'd say there. If there is a whole bunch of data-driven decision-making going on, big data can be useful, but I mean, there's just things that intuitively, as players, we know that there is high participation in systems that most people don't enjoy. And that's not going to be captured in the numbers unless it gets to a breaking point where, imagine, say, I don't know, if Island Expedition farming for anima or for AP got to the stage where raiders would be like, well, doing this is not worth, Desaro is great, but it's not worth this, I'm quitting. That's the only time where that signal would be useful as it pertains to the user satisfaction.
Yeah.
Of the participation.
Yeah, I don't know how, at what stage of education you learn this, or even, I don't even remember in what subject I learned it, but I remember in high school learning about the difference between quantitative and qualitative like data information
Yeah.
analysis, and it's basically that where I think the kind of the overall boiling down of what you were saying to me came as, instead of the actual quantitative numbers you have with zero qualitative analysis, you're actually better off if you have a really damn good stab at intuiting qualitative analysis as far as an experience goes.
Yeah.
Because they have almost nothing tying any of their big, like I imagine just, obviously they don't, but I'm imagining a very big line of metrics and a bunch of charts and like ups and downs and greens and reds going all over the place. Like, oh, today we have the green arrow beside tour gas participation. That means, you know, what do we actually have here? What could have caused that? Oh, it's this week's event. Even though it might have been anything else. It might just have been a blip, but they have no qualitative analysis. So they have to just, you know, they think what it means and come to the conclusion. Whereas if they ignored all those numbers and then tried to think, what's the player experience, what's the, like, and analyze it themselves from that qualitative perspective, which is what they did effectively. And it's weird to consider. It's weird to consider sort of by the gut, like, design as qualitative analysis done intuitively, but that's kind of what it is. Where you're going, well, what way should Ragnaros be facing when he comes out of the ground? That was a qualitative analysis done, but in you know, whoever went, oh, we've got 5 seconds to finish this raid. Go, put him there. So I think there's definitely something. There's something about that kind of just having good intuition, good understanding, and going for it is way, way, way more useful. It's a bit risky, but it's way more useful than following numbers blindly, which seems to be what's largely happening.
The reason why I say, like, use the Force Luke to the WoW team is, like, I actually think they've got it.
Yeah.
You know, they've got those WoW midichlorians all up in them. It's just, you know, sorry. It's just that, like, you know, sometimes it feels like very bizarre things happen that are very confusing, and I just feel like if we all just calm down, we're like, let's go with our gut and think, what is the best for a shared world game like this? Then you'd probably end up with sometimes a different result. So, yeah, that's something. We've got unknown characters saying shoulder pads are the Blizzard kitchen sink. Yes, and to be honest, if you had those Bulwark of Azeroth ones as, you know, your little training thing beside your kitchen sink, yeah, you put your dishes in there, it would totally work.